Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we break down one interesting research paper every day. Today, we're looking at a paper that feels like it's been ripped straight from a sci-fi movie, but its warnings are very, very real.
That's right. We've all seen those AI-generated images online, right? The Pope in a fancy puffer jacket, or historical figures taking selfies. They're often funny, sometimes a bit weird, but mostly harmless.
Exactly, but what if the problem isn't just about a single fake image? What if it's about creating entire fake realities? That's the core idea in a paper from Emilio Ferrara at the University of Southern California, titled The Generative AI Paradox.
The paper argues that we're too focused on the idea of individual deepfakes. The real and much bigger risk is what the author calls synthetic reality. It's not just a fake photo, it's a whole manufactured environment where fake content, fake identities, and fake social interactions all work together to seem incredibly real.
Okay, synthetic reality sounds big and a little terrifying. Can you break that down for us? How does that even work?
The paper presents it as a four-layer system, kind of like building blocks. The first layer is the most basic, synthetic content. This is the stuff we all know. AI-generated text, images, audio, and video. It's cheap to make and looks incredibly realistic.
So that's the photo of President Biden shaking hands with the supreme leader of Iran that never actually happened, which is shown in the paper.
Precisely. But then you add the second layer, synthetic identity. This is where AI isn't just making a picture, it's making a person. It can create a fake passport, a convincing social media profile, or even clone your boss's voice. It's about manufacturing a credible witness out of thin air.
And I'm guessing the next layer uses that fake identity.
You got it. Layer 3 is synthetic interaction. A fake person with a cloned voice is one thing, but an AI chatbot that can have a long, convincing conversation with you is another. It can build rapport, figure out your weaknesses, and persuade you over time. It turns a static fake image into a dynamic, manipulative relationship.
This is starting to sound like a perfect recipe for a scam.
It is, and that leads to the final fourth layer, synthetic institutions. This is where all these synthetic things start to break our real-world systems. Our courts, our elections, our banks, our news media, they all rely on being able to verify evidence. But what happens when a video of a politician saying something outrageous can be faked perfectly? Or when a financial officer gets a video call from their CEO who looks and sounds exactly like their CEO, telling them to transfer millions of dollars?
That actually happened, right? The paper mentions a case in Hong Kong.
Yes, a finance worker was tricked into paying out $25 million after a video call with what they thought were their senior colleagues, but it was all a deep fake. The AI didn't just fool them with one artifact, it created a whole synthetic meeting that felt completely real in the moment.
So we've had Photoshop for decades. What makes generative AI so much more dangerous? The paper must have an answer for that.
It does. It boils down to a few key changes. The first is what the author calls cost collapse. It used to take a team of special effects artists weeks to create a convincing fake. Now, anyone with a laptop can do it in minutes. The barrier to entry is gone.
So more people can create fakes. That makes sense.
It's also about scale and customization. You can create thousands of versions of a fake political ad, each one tailored to a specific voter's fears or biases. This is called micro-segmentation. A single false narrative can be splintered into 1,000 personalized lies, making it almost impossible to issue a single clear correction that reaches everyone.
And this leads us to the central idea of the paper, the generative AI paradox. What exactly is the paradox here?
The paradox is this. As it becomes easier and more common to create fakes, society might rationally decide to just stop trusting all digital evidence. Think about it. If any photo, video, or audio recording could be a fake, you might as well assume they all are.
So a real video of a corrupt official taking a bribe could just be dismissed as a deepfake.
Exactly. The paradox is that the rise of perfect fakes doesn't just make it easier to lie, it also makes it easier to deny the truth. This creates what the paper calls an epistemic tax.
Epistemic tax. That's a new one for me.
Epistemic just means relating to knowledge and truth. So the epistemic tax is the extra cost in time, money, and mental energy that we all have to pay just to figure out what's real. Businesses have to spend more on verification, journalists have to work harder to source evidence, and we as individuals become more cynical and disconnected. The cost of truth goes up for everyone.
So, is there a way out of this? Are we just heading for a future where we can't believe anything we see online?
The paper suggests there's no single silver bullet, but rather a mitigation stack, a layered defense. It starts with things like provenance systems.
Provenance.
Think of it like a secure digital watermark that's almost impossible to fake. A photo taken from a verified device from a news agency would have a cryptographic signature, proving where it came from and that it hasn't been tampered with. It raises our confidence in authenticated media.
Okay, so that helps verify the real stuff. What else?
The paper also points to redesigning our institutional processes. For example, a company policy that says any money transfer over a certain amount needs more than just a video call. It needs a multi-factor approval that can't be easily faked. And finally, there's public resilience. All of us getting better at spotting manipulation tactics and relying more on trusted sources. A kind of epistemic hygiene.
So, it's not just about technology, but also about changing our habits and our systems.
Exactly. The paper's conclusion is that the real goal isn't to create a perfect fake detector. It's to build more resilient systems that preserve trust where it matters most. We can't stop the flood of synthetic media, but we can learn how to build a stronger boat.
A powerful and slightly worrying thought to end on. That was The Generative AI Paradox by Emilio Ferrara. Thanks for joining us on Daily Papers.